Let's talk about some prophecy things that are happening. I'm trying to focus that mostly on Wednesday nights just for the sake of time, but I was reading, I read a lot from Bill Koenig. If you don't know who he is, you need to understand who he is. He is a White House press correspondent, and he has his own ministry that he engages in, but he had turned in his credentials a number of years ago, and was looking for retirement. And then when the last election, he re-engaged and is active in the White House press corps. So he has very close inside knowledge. He's not uncommon for him to be on Air Force One with the press corps. He's there. He meets with a lot of the ambassadors and so on. This is his opening paragraph to his weekly report, which I receive. And coming from Bill, he is never sensational. Bill is very straight-lined. He tells it how it is. He's a journalist, so he has a good grip on things. But this was his words. In my 29 years of reporting on Israel and the Middle East, I have never witnessed such a dense and dramatic convergence of significant developments in biblical prophecy as I did during the 2-week period from April 12th to April 25th. I read that opening paragraph and I paused. I swallowed because I was ready to digest, and he writes pages and pages and pages of analysis on the events of the world. He said it's marked by sudden escalations, urgent diplomacy, prophetic tremors, and high-stakes alliances. He goes on to say these just weren't geopolitical headlines. They were the movements of the Bible's final days of nations. Let that sink in for a minute. He said from Russia to Iran, from Turkey to China, and from the Arab Gulf states to the shifting posture of the United States, the stage is being set in real time. In other words, friends, he's coming soon. Get your house in order and be ready. And if you are ready, then be excited. I believe that we're going to be witnessing some powerful things happen. A couple of things that he highlights, which I'm just going to quickly review. President Trump went to visit Saudi Arabia, Qatar, and the UAE. Off that Middle East trip was Israel. Was that a coincidence? Are there cooling relationships between him and Netanyahu, or is he starting to succumb to the pressure of a two-state solution? I pray not, but also understand that Trump's family business signed a $2 billion crypto deal with the UAE just days before he's making this trip. In the words of Bill Koenig, prophetic Babylon is meeting financial Babylon. In Israel, we're going to talk about the fires in just a moment. What probably didn't make your headlines anywhere is Cartergate. There have been arrests made in Netanyahu's aides who were allegedly taking, I guess I need to say officially, bribes from the nation of Carter as they were making negotiations with Hamas. This is tragic, and I want to believe that Bibi had no knowledge of this, but either way, it undermined the work that was trying to be done to rescue hostages and to bring an end to the Gaza war. At best, the Israeli government was being compromised politically. At worst, it's being compromised spiritually from within. Third, Trump sending shockwaves through Israel. Everything centers around Israel. You got to get this. If you don't get that everything centers around Israel prophetically and even in the world today, you miss the significance of this. Trump has been having secret talks and negotiations with Iran, and it's mirroring the old JCPOA deal. Now, when I read that, I was like, what's the JCPOA deal? Well, if you go back to the Obama era, when he made the deal with Iran for the nuclear deal, that's the JCPOA deal. So Trump is having similar talks with Iran that mirrors the Obama deal that was made during the Obama era. Netanyahu is caught off guard, and the U.S. is no longer considered a political, predictable friend of Israel. Significant. Why? Because it says that there is going to come a day when all nations, and when there's all, that means all nations, will turn their back on Israel. If you weren't aware of this, we have a new neighbor 50 miles from Florida. It's China. While the U.S. is focused on overseas, China expands its military into the Bahamas by making a deal with the Bahamas to set up a military base. Friends, Ezekiel 38 nations are on the move. From Russia's military buildup near Finland to Iran's boldness and all the things happening with Turkey down into Ethiopia, we are seeing prophetic alignment with pixel-level precision. Now, in Jerusalem, Israel is burning because its enemies have set it on fire. The globalists want to scream, see, it's climate change, everything's burning because it's just getting too hot. No, they've caught people setting the fires. The road that goes from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem, I've traveled it many times. People have had to just jump out of their cars and run in the opposite direction, start on the northbound lanes, running to try to escape the flames. It is burning because its enemies have set it on fire. Here's a map of the fires from a few days ago. I never knew that the West Bank was immune from climate change. Because right here, if this is all the West Bank right here. This is Israel, but it is part of the land that it was forced to give up in order to achieve peace. We see how much peace they have today. All these fires are within Israeli state proper, if you want to use it. I consider all this Israel, from within the territory that Israel has not given up to the terrorists. They have never had fires like this. They've had to, in the 77 years of their independence, they've been celebrating their Independence Day. They've had to cancel all their events, and the reason is because of the fires. In 77 years of being a country, they've never had to surrender that. So watch what's going to happen. I think this is I'll call it a preemptive movement for something bigger to come against Israel.